I'm on my way to my local Carnival parade, and already there are people lining up. There's music, the floats are getting ready to proceed down the street. There's an energy in the air. I've been in Spain for almost 6 months, and having come from a place where Carnival isn't really celebrated, this is my first such Carnival experience. It's exciting, but I don't feel quite the way that I thought I would. I thought that being here would be this I finally made it kind of happiness, and I don't I don't quite feel that way, and I don't know why. Maybe I do. Maybe that's the hard part, is knowing why I don't feel quite as happy as I thought I would. I'm surrounded by all this energy, all these colors, all this music, all these people just that seem like they're having a great time. It's all here. And for some reason, I just feel kind of like, I don't know, I'm here. And again, I thought moving here, I'd finally, I don't know, something would click. And this feeling of fulfillment, happiness, something I've been chasing would finally click, but it hasn't. I've spent so much of my life chasing this feeling of happiness, this feeling of just feeling fulfilled and feeling happy, for lack of a better word. I finally thought that this is where I would experience that. And I've come to realize, and it's taken me almost 50 years, that happiness isn't really about being in the right place or being somewhere at the right time. It's about how I've been living. And if I'm going to be honest with myself and honest with you, I've wasted a lot of time, and that's really, really hard to accept. Every night for the past 2 or 3 weeks, I wake up in the middle of the night, usually between 2 and 3, almost every night. I can usually fall asleep despite the tightness in my chest, and I stay asleep for a while, but without fail, I wake up between 2 and 3, usually quite abruptly, and then I toss and turn for the rest of the night, and I can't fall back asleep. You may know this feeling. It's one that I'm familiar with. It's a kind of stress and anxiety that I haven't experienced for some time, and I'm a little surprised and a little caught off guard because I didn't expect it here, especially since I've gone through so much to reset my life and start over here in Spain. It's really caught me off guard and really got me thinking. I've been avoiding something, running away from something. I know that now. I know that's what's causing the sleepless nights. I I've wasted so much of my life, and I think it's caught up to me. It's something that I have to deal with now, and it's not easy. I gave up so much to be here. I gave up everything to be here, maybe recklessly, maybe for the wrong reasons, and I find myself on the verge of making those same mistakes again. I want things to be different this time, and I know that for them to be different, I can't keep doing the same things and expecting different results. I know that I've been avoiding something and I've been overlooking something for almost 50 years. I've realized that happiness isn't something that I can chase, something that I'm going to find in the next big thing. It's much deeper than that. It begins with each and every day and how I spend my time. It's the next morning and I'm on the beach. The sun is out. It's a little quieter. I'm feeling a lot better. I really don't want this to be a poor me video. That's not what this is. I want to share with you something that I've come to realize that it's taken me a really long time to realize, and hopefully in sharing my experience, it will hopefully save you some time and allow you to make the most of the time that you have. I've lived my life in extremes for as long as I can remember. I grew up being a heavy, awkward kid with really no friends, and being bullied all throughout elementary school and all throughout high school. And then when I graduated, I discovered a new circle of friends, and suddenly I became the life of the party. Again, I went from one extreme to another. I needed to be the center of attention. I did things that compromised myself, things that I maybe didn't really want to do, but that allowed me to get that attention that I thought I needed, that I thought I was craving. Over the years, the same thing really has happened with money. I come from a family that, they've worked really hard, but we didn't have a lot of money growing up. And as I got older, I really started to live beyond my means at times. And again, I went from one extreme to the other, chasing things to fill some sort of void, to find some sort of happiness, and attributing those things to things that I didn't really need, that recently I just got rid of and realized how meaningless they really are, and how much I really didn't need them. Even when I think about hobbies that I've had over the years and interests and passions that I've pursued, I really got into orchids at one point, and it started off with one orchid, and then I had a wall of orchids in my bedroom, and I was driving to places to buy rare orchids and ordering them online, and then it was a saltwater aquarium. I had always really been into aquariums, and finally decided to set up a saltwater tank. That started off from a small nano tank to, again, driving to coral stores and fish stores and spending money I didn't really have on this hobby that I thought was giving me some sort of joy, some sort of purpose, but really was just another extreme. I was driving to the airport to pick up live shipments of fish that I had sent and ordered from other parts of the country, and it got a little bit ridiculous. I wasn't really enjoying the hobby, and even my health. My weight has gone up and down over the years, and I've forced myself to exercise, to be really restrictive with my diet. Recently, I got into cycling, and that started with buying a helmet that was on sale, to a whole bike room in the basement. Again, living beyond my means and chasing these things. This, even though it was healthy, it became very unhealthy very quickly, I think, because it was just extremes. All of these things I wasn't really enjoying. I was just amassing things and getting more and more things to fuel my hobby and to distract me and to fill this void that I keep talking about, that I've only now come to realize comes from not really knowing or not really acknowledging what I want and the life that I want to live, and just putting it off time and time again, and being distracted by all of these things. And like many people, there are so many distractions, and it's so easy to put things off, to become distracted, to really lose focus. I've gone to extremes to moving. I moved to Sydney with 12 pairs of shoes and was going there to visit a friend, but was going there to continue this party lifestyle that I thought was somehow it at the time. And then I ended up living in far north Queensland on a deserted tropical island. And again, I was left with no shoes and running around barefoot in the rainforest. And as happy as I was with that experience, looking back, it was one extreme to another. And that seems to be very much a pattern in my life. I came back from Australia. I didn't really know what to do with myself. I decided I wanted to go teach English in Japan. So again, I removed myself from that circle of partying and friends and all of those things that meant in my 20s, and put myself in a situation where I didn't know anyone. I didn't know the language. And as much as I learned from that experience, my motivation for doing it was, again, this repetitive pattern of extremes. And it was something I was chasing, and I never really stopped to think about what actually mattered and what I was chasing and why I was chasing it, and what I was doing with my life in chasing this, what I was really ignoring. And that's really what I've come to realize, and what I want to share is those things, those distractions that pull us away from what really matters, and we end up ignoring our dreams and what we've always wanted to do with our lives. And obviously things happen. We're all led down different paths. There are circumstances that can affect our lives, but it's the chasing of happiness, the never being able to to find it. And even when I do, it was trying really to hold on to it, being really conscious of trying to hold on to the moment and hold it tightly rather than accepting that even that will change, and that's okay, because that happiness that I was chasing lies in how I live my life each day and my connection with what I'm doing and with the present moment and with the people around me, and not the next thing. It's not just the external stuff. There has been an internal struggle for much of my teenage years and into my 20s. I wasn't honest with myself. I was hiding who I really was from myself, let alone from other people. I was constantly negotiating how much of myself to show, to share, with myself and with others. And I think the realization is that I wasn't living a life true to myself and true to what I really wanted. This led to a feeling of being disconnected from myself. I started putting things off. I started making excuses. I started procrastinating. I would say, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow. But now, being here, I'm realizing that time is running out, and some of those things that I've always wanted to achieve, that I've always wanted to work towards. And it's not about working towards those things, because again, that gets into that cycle of extremes of the next thing. It's the realization that there are ways that I have envisioned living my life that I have put off, that I have made excuses for, that I have procrastinated, and that is what I need to do. That is the time that's running out. The time is running out to live in the moment the way that I had imagined, and to stop chasing things. So even as I'm talking about this, I'm saying those things I wanted to achieve, but that's not really what I mean. I mean finding that middle ground, that balance, and just being. I've worked in education for almost 20 years as a trainer, a teacher, an administrator, and in that time I've noticed a huge shift, a huge change in our children and young people. The anxiety that I feel, that you feel, they're feeling it too. They are bombarded with messages and images and content, and so much confusion. They're distracted. They're pulled in so many different directions, always searching for something. They don't have the time or the space just to be, just to figure out who they are and what it is that they really want. I've lived through it myself, and I think on some level we all see it all around us, this race, this constant chasing of something, this distraction that doesn't leave us any time just to be. It's exhausting. And I think it's taken me this long to realize that happiness isn't in the hustle, it's in the peace. For me, living in the middle, stopping chasing everything, is where I've really found that peace. And I've realized that happiness lies. It's where I've been able to most connect with myself, to most connect with the moment, and to realize what I truly want and really what makes me happy. So here I am. I'm on my way home. I've come across more Carnival celebrations, more parties. I'm feeling a lot more connected than I did last night, a lot more present since sharing. So that's where I am. I'm going to continue to focus on living in the present, on living with intention, on not chasing happiness, not waiting happiness for it to find me, but just living in the present moment and embracing the time that I have. So let's stop searching for happiness. Let's live it right now, in this moment. Time doesn't wait for us. We only have so much time, so let's live it. Let's choose to be happy right now.